is Faith Family Cars Podcast. I'm Jerry.
I'm Zach.
Hit the key.
I'm ready. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They that mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. That was Isaiah 40:31.
Guys, welcome back to Faith Family Cars Podcast. We're glad you joined us for episode number 3. And we have got a good episode today.
It's a really good episode.
So we will be coming to you from Shop Truck Gathering. And unfortunately, Zach wasn't able to be there. He had some other obligations. But my wife's behind the camera, and I'm doing a few interviews. And you're going to want to listen all the way to the end. We're going to start with an interview with Todd Johnson, the founder of Shop Truck Gathering. And if you don't know what Shop Truck Gathering is, it is what it says it is. It's shop trucks, but there's a lot of fully built trucks there too. Just some awesome trucks, rat rod trucks, anything you can think of. Internationals, Fords, Dodges, Chevrolets, whatever you can think of is there.
Yep. And
a lot of big trucks, and then a lot of half-ton trucks and a few mini trucks. There's actually a little Nissan that had a 90s vibe to it with the top cut off of it and was slammed on the ground with some cool graphics on the side.
I would have loved to have been
that was like 90s all the way through. Yeah. And then we've got an interview with a guy that has a Datsun four-wheel drive, and it's very unique. It is a early 70s, I believe, if I remember right. Early 70s Datsun. You're going to want to see that. Pretty cool truck.
Very unique. Never seen anything like that.
I haven't seen nothing like it either.
It's cool, though.
Some really cool builds. First interviews with Todd Johnson, and then we end it. So, like I said, you're going to want to watch to the end. We end it with Corey Wheat Customs. Hannah and Corey talked with us a little bit, told us about their YouTube and how they got started. And you're going to want to listen to that. They got a really positive story that everybody's going to want to hear.
Pretty powerful to see how God works in their life.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So if you don't know who they are, you need to go check them out on YouTube. They got a great YouTube channel. But without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. All right, guys, I'm here with Todd Johnson, the organizer of Shop Truck Gathering. And he's put on a huge event here today. Been a really good turnout. And he's going to take some time with us to talk about the show. So, Todd, first question I got. This is your third year, right?
Third year, right.
Third year, okay. So,
thank you.
how did you get involved and get this thing started?
I've probably went to 2,000 car shows and truck shows over my life, and I'm 52 years old. And I saw things that I liked and saw things I didn't like. I wanted to do something that nobody else was doing. There's all kinds of shows for Ford trucks and all kinds of shows for Chevy trucks.
Yep.
But internationals and Studebakers, and I wanted to get all the truck people. This is my people. Truck family is what I like. I want everybody to get together in one place. And there's other shows that are going on right now that are open. Anything can show up.
Yeah.
But that kind of looks like Walmart parking lot. It starts to.
It does.
I wanted 1998. That's as vintage as I wanted to go.
Yep.
Anything 98 and back. So I picked out all the things that I do like and things I don't like, and that's how I kind of come up with this idea. And I get kind of emotional every time I talk about it. If it wasn't for my wife, this probably wouldn't happen, because I mentioned it, and she said, "If that makes you happy, let's do it." And she's helped me. She's been my right-hand person ever since I started 3 years ago. And she's up there right now doing registration.
Yes, she's who signed us in.
And she is doing it. She's doing a great job. I couldn't do it without her and my crew, though. I have a crew of people that help. And it changes from year to year. The first year I had some. The second year I had more. Some of those people couldn't come back, so I had to recruit different friends of mine.
Yeah.
But nobody charges me nothing to come here and help me, my crew. So it's all just volunteer.
No, that's awesome.
And I can't really beat that. You can't beat it having a good group of friends. I've got a truck here that come from Lake Erie.
Wow.
That's a long way.
North, yeah.
And then this guy here in the Hellhound, they came 6 hours starting out this morning. They started out way before daylight and drove from northern Ohio in this truck. these people over here in the welder truck, that's Corey and Hannah Wheat.
Yeah, Corey Wheat Customs.
Corey Wheat Customs. They came from Middle Indiana.
Yeah, near Indianapolis, I think's where they're at.
And so was the other truck that he built. He gave it away. This is Heffley Customs, Sam Heffley. So I'm pleased and I feel blessed. You know that.
Definitely. And when I look at this show, it is what makes it unique to me is the fact that it's not just pickups. I mean, you've got trucks that are like C50s,
C60s.
You got F450s, F550s.
Oh yeah, and
I mean,
that's what I wanted. I wanted a variety, but I want trucks.
Yes.
And I've had people pull up at my gate and say, "I heard you're having a car show today," and I said, "No, I'm having a truck show." And they're like, "Well, why can't I bring my station wagon in?" Because it's not that kind of show. And I don't mean to be mean. But if I say something and I put it online and that's what I'm advertising, that's what I want to stand by.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be what I.
There in our area, we're here in Cave City, Kentucky. In our area, there's not a lot of truck shows that are just trucks.
There's not.
There's very few that I'm aware of.
Oh, not hardly any. And there's some northern and some, I guess western, and of course there's Southeastern Trucking Nationals, which is huge, but it's all Chevy.
Yes.
And then there's C10 Nationals, all Chevy. And then there's Lone Star Roundup in Texas, which I mean, I just wanted to do something around here local that nobody was doing.
Well, there was an event locally, I think in Litchfield, Kentucky, that was a truck show. But it was all modern trucks. And this is 98 and back. That was all modern trucks with the wide wheels and stuff like that. And, that's awesome. Those young guys are into that, and that's their community. But this right here is my community.
This is my people is what I call it.
Yes, right? And this is the kind of trucks that I'm into. But, man, there's a wide variety of everything.
And you don't have to have a $50,000 or $60,000 truck.
No.
And most everybody here have built these and not bought them from somebody. And they didn't walk up and pay a shop. They have built these by their own two hands. And that's what I love. That's how I built mine. That's how I built all mine.
That's one of the main things I noticed. And I was talking to another guy back there about a while ago is that you can tell when you walk around and look at these trucks, these are guys who have built these trucks in their backyard.
Oh, yeah. You have built backyard, back shop. And, there's a couple of them here that there's probably 6 here that I've worked on, like that I've helped with, and that's what I do for a living is cars and trucks, and mostly it's starting to be just trucks only because people know that's what I fool with. But like my shop, it's got a big sign out front that says Shop Truck Gathering. I mean, right now it's full of trucks. My shop is. That's just what I do. That's what I know.
So your shop is Johnson's Garage, is
Johnson's
that right?
Garage. Yep, it sure is.
And so let's talk about the future of this show, okay? So this is the third year. It's been growing every year. And where do you see this going?
Well, I would like to see us outgrow this facility. And if we do, that'll be great. But I'll be hunting for something bigger. I'd like to get 500 or 600 trucks in one spot in one day. And eventually, I want it to be a 2-day. If I can afford to do it, I want it to be a 2-day show so that people have time to be here and enjoy it. Because if we had 500 or 600 trucks, it'd be hard to see them all. In one day. So
and I think if you have a 2-day show, you're going to attract people from further away too. Because then they can make a weekend of it, and they're not just trying to make it down for one day.
Yeah, last year I gave an award away for furthest travel. The guy came from Maryland.
Oh wow!
It's 13 hours that he hauled his rat rod truck here. He said his whole family went to Myrtle Beach, and he told them, he said, "I'm going to Cave City, Kentucky to Shop Truck Gathering." And they said, "Well, you go ahead."
Yeah.
And he come down here with one of his friends. Sure did.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. And also, I want to treat, like I said, I call these my people. I want to treat these people as if they're my friends and the way I would want to be treated.
Yes.
So when people come up to me and they have a complaint, I try to fix it if I can. I try to make everybody happy. Can't make everybody happy, but I try.
Not always. There's some things that just beyond your control.
Right, exactly right.
All right, so, we know that we want to see you outgrow this place too.
Oh, yes, yes.
And I've tried to come to this show 3 years, and we finally got here.
Right, and I met you at Beach Bend.
Yeah,
I saw you down
First year we had a rough experience and wasn't able to make it. Last year I had truck problems the night before. It kept me from being here, and I said I don't care, no matter what.
What it takes, exactly. We're going to be, and I appreciate you.
And actually, we finished. My son put new stainless exhaust on our truck, and we finished that last night.
It sounds good.
So,
yeah.
Let's get into your truck. So the first time I saw this truck was at Holly Ford Fest.
Yep.
And we talked that day, and that's the first time I'd met you. And I really love your truck, and I think the main thing I love about it is the baby blue.
Baby blue.
Just love the baby
and
blue.
you know what? That's another thing I've got to give credit to somebody besides me. My wife picked the color out. She was like, "You always build black and red and rusty stuff. Why don't you let me pick the color?" And I'm like, "Okay." And so she picked this color. It's actually Krylon from Lowe's.
Oh, really?
And I'll never live this down. But if I tell you the color, everybody's gonna laugh. But my wife picked it out. It's called Peekaboo Blue. That's what it's called. But everybody who sees it says, "Man, that thing is unique. I like that color." And I'm like, "Well, my wife picked it out. I got to give it to her." She did.
Yeah. So why don't you tell everybody about your truck?
I bought this truck out of a field about 3.5 years ago, and it was a '56 when I bought it, and the cab was a little rougher than I wanted it to be. So I bought a '53 cab that was rust free. And so I just switched everything over. It's on the original 2 frame rails, but everything else has been pretty much replaced. It's got brand new Mustang 2. It's got a 5.0 roller cam motor from an older model Crown Vic. It has an automatic overdrive. It's got 9-inch Ford rear end. Every piece of stainless and every piece of trim, I had nothing. I had to buy all that brand new because I couldn't find it used. And she wanted me to build a really nice truck for me and her to ride around in. All I like right now is the headliner and the carpets. All I like it being finished truck. But we're going to put air on it in the future because she wants air. So but it's got every new glass, every new rubber, everything that you see. I've tried to replace it new because I wanted something that she feels comfortable riding in.
Yes.
And I usually build rat rods, a lot of rat rods, and a lot of shop trucks. But this is one of my nicer shop trucks for me. And so I told her, I said, "But I want it to have patina." And she's like, "I don't care, just as long as you pick this color." So I've been working on these fenders, trying to get them to look faded, like it's a work in progress. But I mean, it kind of is.
No, it's getting there. And when you first look at it, to me, it looks like original paint.
Oh, yeah, it does.
And when you walk up on it, you're thinking, "Man, this is an original paint truck."
Right, Survivor is what it looks like.
Yes,
that's what I wanted. Yeah. And the roof, I've had to repaint a couple of times. If you leave it sitting out, like at some shows, it gets a lot hot. And then sometimes I have to put it outside and work on somebody else's stuff. And it gets rained on.
Yeah.
And, but
ain't nothing you can do about that.
When I put it inside, if I forget to cover it up, the roof gets oversprayed and it gets metal shavings from where I work on it in the shop with where it's parked at. But, I mean, ain't nothing I can do about it. I try.
But, it is a cool truck.
But I clean it up when I get ready. I take it. And every time I get somewhere, it looks just like this. Yep. Bugs all over every time I take it.
But we drive them. That's how they're going to get when we drive them.
It's got brand new wipers underneath the motor and all the mechanism. It's got new wipers. It's got new heat. The only thing I like is air. So we can get in this truck and drive it in the winter, and I have. And I mean, it's this nice inside. This is my grandson, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, do you like Papa's truck? All right. What do you like the best about Papa's truck?
Some paint on the side.
You like some paint on the side?
You like the what?
The painting on the side.
The painting on the side? Yeah, the painting on the side. Johnson's garage.
Hey, tell them what I did for you. I put seatbelts in this truck so you could ride, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I put his car seat in there and he rides with me. And the first time he ever sit down in it, I had my arm hanging out the window like this, getting some air. And I look over and he got his arm out the window. I'm like, you can't beat that.
No, that's awesome.
I wouldn't take $1 million for that.
No. So you also have is the tow truck yours too?
It is the tow truck. Okay. Yeah, it's the crusty hooker is what we call it. It's because it's a tow truck. Yeah. I didn't mean nothing vulgar. It's just a neat little name.
Which you'll see, guys listening to this, you'll find that truck on Instagram. We'll have pictures on there of it. But it is a rat rod. It has got so many cool features to it, like most rat rods do.
And I'm building it for the 2024 Rat Rod Magazine build off.
Okay.
That's where it's going. In September, it's going to Sheffield, Illinois.
Okay.
And there was 300 of us that entered, and about 50 has already dropped out. So there'll be 250 of those traveling on a 65-mile one-way cruise. And when we get to the end of that cruise, they're going to judge us. 5 judges. And they said be prepared to be there all day to be judged.
You got to be able to
Friday,
drive it.
You got to be able to drive it.
Yeah.
And then we got to drive back to the Psycho Silo Saloon where it's at.
Yep.
And they said everybody who's a contestant in the competition, you're going to be the center of attention.
Okay.
They're going to put us in one spot and rope us off. and then the other rat rods are going to be around us. So
Okay.
it's going to be. I've
Cool.
never been. It's called Rat Stock. It's going to be a pretty cool
That
event.
sounds awesome.
And they've got coverage online that's just crazy. They got drone footage from last year, so it's pretty cool. Pretty cool idea.
Well, the one thing I like about your rat rod is that I noticed, it just kind of caught my eye, was you have lights on the bed up next to the cab, and those are like red light bulbs in mason jars.
And they're made out of jelly jars.
They're fruit mason jars.
Yep.
That is one of the coolest features to
And
me.
I picked those up. Bless her heart, we had to put my mother-in-law in the nursing home last year in November, and when we cleaned her basement out, she had a bunch of canning stuff, and so I picked those jars because they've got all those cuts in them like a diamond.
Yep.
And I said, I'm going to make these in the taillights. And my wife said, what? And then when I made them, she's like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I thought, well, I want to do something different. And then on the inside, I took one of her antique hot dog relish jars, and it's got all them cuts in it, and I made a dome light out of it.
Okay, cool. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so she doesn't even know, where she's at. I mean, I hate it for her, but she doesn't even know that she's in the nursing home. She just wants to go home all the time. But I got to give a little credit to her that she had those in her basement all those years.
Yeah. No, that's cool because that'll live on that truck even when she's not here.
My dad, there's a winch on there that my dad did some welding on to put the pedestal on a lawnmower trailer, and I pulled it off and put the winch on that record. And his weld beads are still on part of that winch, so that'll live on forever too.
That's awesome.
And I told somebody said, is it for sale? And I said, they're all for sale, but it's going to cost you to get that one or this one. These aren't going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Because they got too much of me in them,
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. We pour our hearts and souls out into these vehicles, and then when you even think about selling it, you're like,
it's like family. It's like getting rid of your favorite dog. I mean, you're like, I don't know.
And like my truck is nothing special, but I've poured, my heart and soul into it. And there's no way I can get rid of it. That's the one truck that'll live with me. That was my first major project, and it'll live on with me.
Well, I told my wife, I said, if somebody come up and offer me $40,000, I'd probably sell this. But I mean, this is mine and her truck right here.
So you can find Shop Truck Gathering on Facebook. There's all kinds of coverage on there, and all winter long he's posting stuff about different trucks
all
too.
The time. Yep.
So he's always got all kinds of good content on there. So give him a follow on Facebook, Shop Truck Gathering, and I'm looking at this place and I'm thinking it can only get bigger. Next year it's probably going to be even better than it is this year.
And my wife, every time we have a show, like I said, it's third year. Every time we have a show, when the trucks start pouring in off the main highway out here, she said, baby, it's really happening.
Yeah.
It's happening again. I said, yeah. And then she'll say, people love you. I said, no, they love this. They love this community. That's what we are. We're a community, a family. It is.
So, all right. We appreciate it. Todd, it was good to do this. And we'll catch up maybe at Ford Fest.
Oh, yeah. I'll be there.
Maybe we'll talk again there. All right, we're out here at Shop Truck Gathering, and we're with Chris from Rad Fabz, and he's got this cool slammed F100 back here that just really sparked my interest when I walked up. And we're going to have him tell us a little bit more about the truck and what he's done to it.
It's a 1969 Ford F100. I've done a full chassis swap from an 06 Lincoln Town Car. It's got the Lincoln Town Car chassis, the interior, the engine, everything. Has heated leather seats, cruise control, all the functions on the steering wheel work. I used the 3P Airlift Performance bag setup on it.
Okay. And so does it ride like a Lincoln?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
It rides
like a Lincoln, yeah.
All right. So now I've seen a lot of trucks, and this is one thing that sparked my interest about this, where people do a Crown Vic swap. They'll do a full frame swap. They'll put the interior in it, and it's chopped up, and it looks kind of rough, to say the least. But when I walked up on this truck, I'm like, man, I don't like what people do. And the more I looked at it, I was like, no, he did it right. Yeah. This truck is clean. The interior fits the truck very well. You did a great job on that. So what do you have going on on the rear suspension?
On the rear suspension, basically, it's where it's on the Lincoln Town Car chassis. It was already set up for bags because they have the stock airbag set up.
Yeah.
So I just removed what they had and built my own purchase and did my own stuff on this one. This one was actually pretty easy because it already had the the bag set up on it. But
Okay.
some of the other ones I build, they don't. They're on the stock frame. We'll do the big C notch and 4-link it or bag on bar or something like that.
Okay, and this is running the 4.6 in it?
This has the 4.6 in it, yeah.
Okay, so you said on other trucks. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, I build trucks. I have a shop called Rad Fabz. I have a YouTube channel called Rad Fabz.
Okay.
And I build these. I just get in the bump sides and dent sides. I do the crown big swaps on the front. Sometimes put in the 4.6, give them air conditioning, bag them.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I saw a real interesting picture of an orange, I think it was a 79.
Yes, sir, 78. Yep.
78,
Yep.
okay. The 4-link on it was a little different. Why don't you explain that to us?
Okay. It is a little bit different. It took me about a week to figure out how I wanted to lay it out. There's many different styles to do those. I just kind of just laid some bars there, and I would walk back and look at it, and I'd go work on something else, and I just kept moving around until I come with a good setup that I thought would work. You got to lay stuff a certain way because you got your drive shaft coming through. You got fuel tanks that are in the way.
Yeah.
You got other stuff. Some of these older trucks have the fuel tanks. The orange one actually had a fuel tank behind the axle and beside the axle. So we had to do a lot of fab to get some stuff out of the way to make that work. But it's just it's the bag on bar setup with the 2x2 square tube on the bottom. I really don't know what all to say about it. It's just this bag on bar setup.
We'll link that truck on our Instagram so everybody can see the pictures of that truck. That truck's pretty wild looking too. But this truck is just a beautiful truck. You've done a great job on it.
Thanks,
and
man.
so what do you think about the show? Shop Truck Gathering, to me, so far, I mean, it's been awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool trucks out here. A lot of cool Fords.
Yes,
a lot of
Fords
sides,
showed up.
sides. We usually don't see a lot of these at the shows we go to.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. So do you ever go to Holly Ford Fest?
I have not been to that one.
Okay, hey, that's something to check out.
We kind of just got into this about 2 years ago. So we went to LST in Texas. We went to that.
So did you drive the truck down there?
I didn't drive it down there to that one. We do drive it to some of the shows, but some we don't. It just depends. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was about 16 hours from my house. So
Yes,
we just trailered it on that one.
Yeah, that's a long drive.
Yeah, it was.
In any old truck.
Yep.
We appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
And,
It was good chatting with
hey,
you, man.
what's your Instagram? Let everybody know what your Instagram is.
It's Rad Fabz.
Rad Fabz on Instagram.
Rad Fabz.
Okay. So check him out on Instagram. Check
And
him out on
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yep.
And give him some follows, guys. He needs to build his
please.
YouTube.
I need them.
So, yeah, go check out what he does. Does a lot of cool F100 stuff. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, man.
All right, we're still out here at Shop Truck Gathering, and we're with Chad. And he's got his Chevrolet farm truck out here. We're going to have him tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's a 1952 Chevrolet 3800 1-ton with a dump bed.
Okay, so it's a dump bed.
Yes,
not just a stake bed.
Yep,
Okay.
it is a dump bed, and it works.
All right.
I actually use this truck daily, semi-daily on the farm, and I haul dirt and rock with it.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So when we first pulled up, we both had bullnose trucks too.
Yeah.
And we were talking about those, and he told me the Chevrolet was his, and he actually used it on the farm. So I thought that was the coolest thing. So what have you done to the truck?
Not much, man. It's as far as I know, this truck came from Kansas City, Missouri. It was a grain truck, and generally grain trucks didn't get a lot of service, so they would be used maybe at harvest once or twice a year, put in a barn. So it was actually in good shape. The only thing we've done is 12 bolted it, aluminum radiator, things to make it a little more modern day drivable, but it's still not really modern day drivable. It's like 45 miles an hour with drum brakes. Loaded down, it's scary.
Yeah, I bet.
But it's reliable, man.
Yeah.
It's solid. It works.
So what motor did you say was in it?
It's a 235 inline six.
Really?
It originally came with a stove bolt 216, and those engines weren't really great with the Babbitt bearings.
Yeah.
Whenever it blew, I'm sure they put this 235 in it, and it's probably the engine's a 54 model because it don't have an oil filter.
It doesn't have an oil filter.
No oil filter.
Wow.
Yep.
Hey, that's new to me. I've never seen that before.
They didn't have them back then on these.
Okay.
Yeah. It's got a road draft tube too, so it blows the crap over the road.
Now, I've seen, I had a 65 Falcon that had one of those.
Yes.
So that was interesting.
I'm a Falcon guy too. I've had a lot of Falcons. I love them.
Cool. I do too.
Yeah.
We had to sell ours because we just had too much going on. So I sold it, but I love that car. But back to your truck here.
Yeah.
So you use it on the farm, and you drove it here today. How far did you drive it?
Not very far. I'm just 5 minutes down the road.
Oh, okay.
But I would have drove it further, but it's a 4-speed low granny gear.
Yeah, okay.
The unique thing this truck does not have the 2-speed transaxle, so I can't get a high-low.
Okay.
So it's like 45 miles an hour.
All
It's
right.
screaming.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at your bullnose here
Yeah,
because,
man.
of course, everybody knows I'm a bullnose guy.
Oh, yeah.
And noticed your truck, and I backed in next to it because of the camper top. I was like,
Yeah,
man, that thing's cool.
So the bullnose, it's an 84 F-150 302 AOD, original, pretty much everything aside of a small cam, intake and carb. It's actually our daily driver. This is my daily, everyday truck.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's just a good old honest truck. My wife named it. She does the naming thing. I usually don't get in that, but she named him Bert.
Bert, okay.
And I'm like, Bert, that's kind of
Yeah,
odd.
wow.
She's like, well, Bert, number one, he's thirsty. He's a drinker. Number two, he's a little rough around the edges. But
Yeah.
number three, he's a good old boy.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody loves a Bert.
Yeah. And so this is just a good, dependable truck. So
It
you
is,
drive there.
man. It's solid. It was an old man's truck, and as far as I know, somebody bought it. The guy bought it from the F100 gathering in Gallenberg,
Okay. Yeah.
and drove it home, and then I got it from him. So
All right.
yeah, I haven't really done much to it.
One of the other things I liked was the pinstriping on it. The pinstriping looks cool. With
Yeah,
the patina.
thank you.
So
Thank you. Yeah,
Looks really good. So
looks
did you
good
do
on
the
that.
pinstriping?
no.
Okay.
Brandon Shirley here locally. He's one of the best pinstripers I know.
Okay.
He's a local friend, and he's gotten some notoriety for it. You
Yeah,
know, he goes
cool.
around and does a lot of striping for people. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you talking to
Yeah,
us
man.
and tell
Yeah.
us about your trucks.
Yeah, thank
So,
you, man.
Take care.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. All right, out here at Shop Truck Gathering, and we're with Bo and his F100 that is Cummins powered. He's going to tell us a little bit about it.
Yep, this is our 68 F100 that my uncle bought new down in South Carolina. And we decided to go pick it up since they were going to scrap this truck. So we got it for $200, brought it back, and
wow.
had a 390 that we put in it for a little bit. And we know we're diesel mechanics, so it's time to put a Cummins in there. And this is a 12 valve out of a school bus.
Nice.
So has a few little odds and ends to make her go fast and pull a little smoke. But
So
we have a good time.
what kind of power are we talking?
We're looking about 600 horse, probably about 12 to 1,300 foot-pounds of torque. And the worst part is trying to get her to hook.
Yeah, I
So-
bet.
Yeah.
So off camera, you was mentioning to me about the rear end. Tell us what to sit up in.
Well, we did a Dana 80 in the rear and shortened it because the 9-inch rear end wouldn't hold the one we had in it, and we got tired of messing with it, so we shortened that rear end. And then it's got an MB 4500 transmission with the Kentucky double disc clutch. for
Okay.
it,
So it pulls really hard.
pulls really hard, and if you want to get your wife to scream, you get her in this truck. So,
No, it's a really good looking truck, and I like the patina on it. And so you said this is the original patina.
it's the original patina. This little piece here, I did fix that because it was rusted away.
Yeah.
But the rest of the truck is original. Other than the roll pan too, I did that too. But all the little circles on it are from the moss hanging off
Okay.
of it, and sitting under the trees.
So tell us about the hood ornament.
I found that at the Frog Follies last year, and my wife does not like it, but it was something different. It lights up, the ball lights up.
Oh, does it? Okay.
But we're thinking about putting a cross up there, and maybe it be Jesus holding the cross.
Okay,
So,
that's cool too.
Yeah. So
Cool deal.
Yep.
So give us your socials so we know where we can check his truck out.
well, you can. You're talking about where
Your Instagram, your
my
Facebook.
Instagram is Jones Boys Customs.
Yeah. Okay.
We build trucks. We're diesel mechanics, but we build trucks, and we've got two 73s we're building, a 69, and then also we have some Chevy stuff that we don't like to tell people about.
Okay. Hey, so I'm a Ford guy, but we gotta include the Chevy. guys, too, so.
They keep us going. So
Hey,
yeah,
So you can find him at Jones_boys_customs on
That's correct.
Instagram. And go give him a follow. Check out what he's got going on. This diesel's awesome. So check it out.
all right, appreciate it.
All right, here at Shop Truck Gathering, and we're with Jacob. And he's got this Datsun, very unique Datsun 1200. He's going to tell us a little bit about what he's done to his truck.
It's a 1964 Datsun 320. I picked it up off of a guy that had it sitting in a barn since 1980. He originally started chopping it up to get to fit a bigger motor in it. So I didn't have motor or transmission or anything, and then I found a Nissan Xterra on Facebook for $400 that had been
Okay.
rolled, and it was supercharged, 4-wheel drive, and it was somebody's Woods toy, so it only had about 60,000 miles on it. So I took the body off of it, and then took the body off of this one, and they kind of just matched up really, really nice. We didn't have to do very much to it at all.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So the motor that's in it, is that out of the Xterra?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
It's a VG33ER. Has about 250 or 240 horsepower, which isn't a lot, but for this, it doesn't weigh anything, so it gets going for sure.
Sure. This little truck made with that. Yeah, I walked up to it and I was like, okay, it's supercharged.
Yeah.
What motor is this? I'm looking all over and I'm like, okay, it looks like a V6, but I can't tell what it is.
Yeah.
And that's pretty wild. It's wild that it sit on the frame so easy.
Yeah, I was surprised we didn't have to shorten the frame. I thought we was going to have to shorten the frame, but we didn't. It just kind of fit. The front mounts on it actually almost lined up, but it wasn't perfect, so we moved it a little bit and built our own mounts. But I was like, man, it wants to go on this frame.
Yeah, so you got you a four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing to me when I walked up on this truck was the bed. The first thing I noticed is this thing isn't a pile of rust. I mean, you never see these old Datsuns with a bed that's together. So that's the original bed on the truck.
Yeah, I've had about 20 Datsun trucks, and this is the second one that hasn't had the bed rotted out. I have a 72 and a half, and it doesn't have a rotted out bed, and those are the only two I've ever owned that don't have a bad bed. So when they have a good bed, I build them.
Yeah. So when I look at this, the first thing besides the bed, the next thing was for me, this is a Puddin's Fab Shop special.
Yeah, I love pudding.
Yeah, I do too. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is like right up his alley.
Yeah. I talked to him on the Datsun 620 owners group because I had a dually and I took the dually setup off, but he asked me some questions about the dually setup I have. I'm trying to get him to buy the fenders now that I don't have the dually setup anymore.
But he's always looking for fenders.
Yeah. So I got some dually fenders if he wants them. But he asked me a couple questions about this, and we talked about this on the 620 group because he replied to one of my comments. I was like, hey, I got one of these, and apparently he has one too in California. He just said pick it up.
Really? Okay, cool. So there's a little spoiler if y'all watch Puddin's Fab Shop. So really cool truck. I thought it was really unique. Something that you're not going to see anywhere, but you will find here at Shop Truck Gathering because everything's out here. Everything's out here. So, hey, man, I appreciate you spending some time with us and telling us about your truck. Thank you. All right, we're at the Shop Truck Gathering, and I've got Corey Wheat Customs here, and Hannah's with him, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their YouTube channel. If you haven't watched it, you need to subscribe and check it out because they do some cool stuff. They do a lot of rat rod type stuff, and these trucks are just a good example of what they do. So they're going to tell us a little bit about their YouTube channel.
All right, so I'm Corey with Corey Wheat Customs, and like he was saying, we run a YouTube channel. We find old, forgotten farm trucks, give them a second life, put modern chassis under them, and just kind of put our own twist on them. And my wife helps me. She works there beside me. Making this happen. So
I pretty much am the janitor. When I don't know what to do, I just grab a broom. So, I mean, but I feel like anything helps. So I always tell people, if you don't know what to do, just get out there with your husband. So they're going to appreciate it, even if you're just sitting out there with them.
Now, you're the organized one, right?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah. We spend more time looking for tools and parts than we do working half the time. So,
well, I'm just trying to get stuff done here. This is a podcast for not to burn me on. Anyways, but we have a good time. Like, it always helps to have someone that is in it with you and helping you achieve your goals in life and stuff like that. And this is kind of one of our dreams to do this, and it's definitely been a blessing to have someone work beside me and follow my dreams, and it's just as much as her dreams. So
what led you to doing the YouTube channel? And
honestly, we've been building stuff for a long time, even before YouTube, and we built her 59 Chevy Viking. It's been pretty much all over the internet, and we got that truck done, and somebody recommended, they said, hey, we would have loved to seen you guys build this. Did you guys build it on YouTube or something like that? And we said, no, we don't do YouTube. And they're like, you really should think about doing YouTube because people would watch to see you guys interact and build stuff. So that kind of planted the seed.
And my mama always said, I'd love to go to these shows with you guys, but I just can't travel. And we're like, well, we'll just document our time, whatever. And so it worked out. And at first, when he said he wanted to start YouTube and, go off on his own and work, we thought, okay, whatever, we'll make it work. So I picked up every shift I could at the restaurant, and he the first year was really rough. We really thought we were going to have to, he was going to have to get a job at O'Reilly's or something. And well, the Viking was our ticket out. And we just got back from a show what year was it? 2 years ago, I think.
2 years ago.
And we parked the truck at the end of the driveway. We were getting ready to take it to our church. Our youth pastor reached out and said, hey, I want to do a sermon about God don't build junk. And I'd love the truck to be there. Yeah. And I said, okay, yeah. So
this is where something bad happened that was amazing, honestly.
So anyways, we're like, yeah, well, I got home from work and it was Wednesday. We were getting ready to take the truck. And Corey, I seen the forklift going down the hill. And I thought, wow, why wouldn't he say hi to me first before he got on the forklift? No one was on it. The forklift rolled down the hill, and I instantly started crying, and I'm hollering for Corey, running, trying to catch up with it, and it smashed into the front of the Viking. Totaled the front end.
It totaled the Viking, and honestly, I didn't quit my job to do YouTube. I quit my job because I was getting ready to turn 30, and I always wanted to go out and do my own thing. So I just thought the Viking was kind of our ticket to get more customers and stuff like that, and we were struggling, like she said, when the forklift totaled the truck, we're like, it's game over for us.
I remember dry heaving, talking to my mom, like, Mom, it happened, something terrible happened. And she said, Hannah, God's got it. He's got a plan. And the crazy thing is, she was right, and he did have a plan. After that, we put a video out that said, we rebuilt my wife's Viking.
And I just looked like last week, and it's almost to 3 million views. And that's really opened the doors for YouTube, because we went from, I'm not saying we don't have rough times, but it's become more of an income, and not a struggle. Yes. When you first start doing YouTube, what people don't realize, even these beginning YouTubers, they're doing YouTube, but they also have income. But you're putting all this work into doing YouTube, and you don't get paid until you have so many subscribers, so many watch hours.
So a lot of people drop off because, why do it?
You got to be really committed.
You got to be committed. And I will admit that when we were doing it, we weren't getting paid from YouTube. So you're spending a lot of time on this. So I quit for, and a lot of people don't know this, I quit for a little bit doing YouTube just because I was like, man, no one cares. It ain't worth it. We're struggling.
No,
I need to focus on.
Yeah.
So we quit, and then I decided, you know what? I'm going to give it one more good shot, and then this is where we are. So,
that's awesome.
And God's blessed us. We have the most amazing people who we get to meet from doing YouTube. I mean, it's just been awesome, and the stories that we get to share and that they share with us is really, really cool.
Yeah, so
it's an awesome thing what you guys are doing, because you're keeping it real for the everyday guy. And that's what our podcast is about. Is we're wanting to reach out to the guy that's working in his garage, behind his house. That's who we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
So, and while doing that, we're going to spread the gospel word too.
Absolutely.
And so, and we love the kids getting involved, and that's what this is all about. We need to get our kids involved too. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I encourage everyone. Everyone's like, I had a guy walk up to me, he's like, "Man, it must be nice. I could build what you're building if I had all the tools you have." And I said, "You obviously ain't following us, because I'm out here on the concrete banging a piece of metal with a sledgehammer." And I mean, tools are cheap. You can go to Harbor Freight, and not everybody can afford Snap-on tools, and we have no Snap-on tools. No. We literally Harbor Freight.
That's our garage.
I mean,
it's all Harbor Freight.
Built. Everything you're seeing that we've built is Harbor Freight tools, low budget stuff. I mean, I was thankful enough to grow up with an automotive background. My grandpa started building a school bus for Carpenter Body Works, this Carpenter school buses. So I have that background. My dad's owned his own shop since he graduated high school. I was thankful enough to be raised in a body shop, in a mechanic shop.
So you've been around it your whole life.
I've been around it my whole life. So when someone's like, "Man, how do you know how to do that?" I was surrounded by talented people to begin with, and supported by an amazing wife, and then also God on your side. Anything's possible.
Well,
so we're just sending it at this point.
It takes an amazing wife to push you through. And
exactly.
Mine's behind the camera, and because she supports me in everything I do. And so this is what I feel God's led us to do, and awesome. She's behind it 100%. Which is awesome. I also noticed that you weld.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm not great. I wish I would have taken welding class, because I'm not great at it, but I love to do it. I think it's so cool how you can make things look, that cool, just by your little welding.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know at our automotive technology center in the county we live in, the welding class, the instructor said that the girls weld way better than the guys do because they pay more attention to detail.
Yeah.
So
She would be
I found that interesting.
She would be a lot better of a welder if we had a better welder, honestly. Yeah. I struggle with the welder we have, but it's one of those things, it works, so I keep going. Okay. You guys, if you guys have followed our channel, you guys will probably agree. I buy a bunch of farm trucks that I should probably spend that money on buying better tools.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, that's a good deal on Marketplace.
We can't let it get away.
Yeah, I'm like, I should spend the money on a better welder, but our welder works.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we can put down. Yeah.
My son, he does all of our welding, and he TIG welds mostly. And he's like, "Dad, this TIG welder sucks. We need a better one."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, it's what we got, so that's what we're using."
Yeah.
So.
And it's nothing wrong with our welder works. We're putting down good welds. So people watching us probably like, "Oh my gosh, their stuff's junk. They got a junk welder." It's not that, but it gets the job done. But there's always room for improvements. And so if you guys are the welder's one of them. So if you guys are watching this. Go buy some cheap tools from Harbor Freight. Go spend you like a couple $100. $100 will get you a long way in this way, these days. And
which we are blessed to have a garage to work out of. A lot of people I've seen that are working on this stuff is just they go to Walmart and buy a tent and they are working underneath the tent, and that is inspiring. I think it should be to a lot of people. If you want something that bad, you're gonna make it happen, and I think that's awesome.
That's how we start in our driveway.
Oh wow, okay.
Gravel driveway.
Yeah.
They're a lot of times I'd rather work out in the driveway just because there's more room out there.
Yeah.
You get these old farm trucks; they're too tall to get in, and then once you get them up on the lift, you can't raise them up because my ceilings are too short. But here I am complaining, but I'm also thankful for what I have. So,
well, one thing that's awesome about you guys is you drive these trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at these trucks, I'm like, man, I would not take this to East Tennessee. You know, on some of these long runs you guys do, so it's so cool that you all drive your trucks too.
Yeah,
because that's what it's all about. I mean,
we're just kind of trying to prove that our stuff you can drive them. Like the welder rig, this one over here, it was built. We did it in like 4 episodes, but you're looking at 18 days start to finish, which they're never really finished. But we that ended up being a 95 international cab or international box truck with a DT 466. Yep. She found the body out of Kansas. We swapped it over, had 18 days in it, and drove it from here to Florida. Indiana to Florida.
Yes.
Like I said, spent 18 days on truck and then drove it.
Yeah,
we didn't have problem. Yeah, we're not smart. We didn't claim we were smart. The truck would have made it there and back, but we wanted to swap out the tranny, so we swapped out our friends and we put a different tranny in. And if you guys go back and watch those videos, we stayed in Alabama for a few days. 3 transmissions later, we made it. But
and now it runs amazing. I mean, that's our. I always say this, and he's like, I probably wouldn't say that, but I'm gonna say it anyways. It's probably our most reliable truck that we have. I mean, I daily drive it back home, and I would feel comfortable taking off and going to California.
Well, that being said, awesome. With that truck is a well-rounded truck. You can show it, you can pull it, you can use it, daily drive it. With our other trucks, we do all of that with them, but that's the most practical.
Yeah.
Her Viking kind of took. We would pull this stuff with the Viking, but it sets low to the ground, and with I don't know if your Indiana and Kentucky roads are horrible.
Know all about it.
They beat the tar out of a truck, so it really tests your work.
Yes.
So, and like this truck, it's a '65 Ford farm truck that was on my grandpa's farm, passed away, and put on a modern chassis. And this was actually my daily driver, and it was hooked to a gooseneck trailer. 90%.
8 out of 10 times you'd see this with a trailer, and he'd be going up north to get something, and I never knew what he was going to drag.
I guess my big thing is if you're going to build it, I want to live it at that point. Like, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, we build this stuff, but I hop in a new Escalade and drive it. Like, I want to prove that we can drive what we're building.
Yeah.
Not saying that's the smartest thing, but we're doing it.
Hey, it's awesome. No, it's awesome.
But we appreciate you having us.
Hey, we're glad that you all did this with us. This has been awesome. And this show is so different than most of the shows in this area because you get a little bit of everything. Yeah. And that's what I like about it so much. I finally got to be here, and this has been good. I'm glad you guys were here and we were able to interview you.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And hopefully we'll hit y'all up somewhere else sometime.
Absolutely.
Okay. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this amazing channel. It's going to go big places. So.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed those interviews. Zach, what did you think about the Datsun?
The Datsun was awesome because, as you probably know from last episode, if y'all listened to that one, I talked about having an Xterra.
Yeah.
So I'm a big Ford guy, but I really like Nissans. So like seeing that, that was awesome.
Well, just to look at the work that he did to that, to make that truck fit on that frame.
It's crazy that it works though.
And he says it almost just sit on there without much modification. But when I seen it in person, I mean, my first thought is, I told my wife, I said, we've got to find this guy because this is so unique.
Yeah,
I've never seen that like
that before.
And to see how rust-free the truck was, that blew my mind because I've never seen
the age of this.
Yeah, but right off the bat, I'm thinking Puddin's Fab Shop build all the way.
Yeah,
that's just something that he
especially since he's released that video with the Mercedes on the K5 Blazer chassis or whatever it was.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's what that reminds me of.
Yeah, and so out of all these interviews, a couple of my other favorites really were the gentleman from Rad Fabz. I mean, he does custom F100s, and he does them in a variety of ways, from Crown Vics to beams to making his own 4-leak systems. And you guys need to check him out because I've watched his YouTube. He's got some cool stuff on there, some cool builds, and it looks like he's starting a mini truck build right now with a Nissan again. So another Nissan. So that's pretty cool. And then also, yeah, it's a hard body.
I'm a big hard body fan.
Yes, the hard bodies are cool, man. I remember growing up, and our neighbor had a 4-wheel drive hard body, and I always loved the look of that truck.
And I've always wanted one, and I'm surprised I haven't had one, but it just seems like when I go to look for one, they just don't really work out.
No, and the prices are just like up and down. Sometimes they're really expensive.
Sometimes finding one without rust, a lot of rust is hard
most of them are rusted
out.
out.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. But Jones Boys Customs, the diesel F100, that truck was just awesome. And you heard the horsepower ratings, and they are diesel mechanics. That's what they do. And a good Christian guy, Bo is, and it was really good talking with him. And hopefully soon we'll be doing some more interview with him. And but don't know when, but hopefully we're going to get hooked up with him again pretty soon. But I hope you guys enjoyed all the trucks. I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, we're going to have a YouTube video of some more footage of the trucks from there to be separate from this podcast.
I would definitely recommend if you listen to your podcast anywhere else, definitely check out the YouTube version as well, because you're gonna be a lot more immersive. You're gonna see the video footage. You get to see these people's trucks while we talk to them.
Yes,
it's I guess while you talk to them, but it's really cool to be able to see it while you're listening.
Yeah. And, Todd Johnson has worked hard to put this together, and he uses all local help. He's on a budget, and he brings in, as he said in the interview, he brings in friends and family to help him. And they work their butts off. I mean, and they put together a really good, clean show that is very well organized. I mean, probably one of the better organized.
I like it from the footage.
Yeah, and it's not a huge show. Don't get me wrong. You're looking at 200 to 250 trucks, but that's a pretty good sized show. And it feels like when you're walking through, that everybody there they've built their truck themselves for the most part.
Yeah.
Some of these you can tell, man, they had some help. They're too perfect. You know. But most of them, these guys have built their truck themselves. They've built it back in their garage behind the house, and they're very proud of what they've done. And they want to talk about it, and it is so awesome.
A lot of our caliber kind of stuff. Something budget builds. I can go look at that and be like, I could build that myself. That'd be pretty cool.
And just like Todd, you'll see his truck. We're interviewing in front of it, and you saw that. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you saw that. He built that all himself. He has a shop. He knows what he's doing. He built that truck himself. And then his rat rod, he built his rat rod himself, and his rat rod is really cool.
I think you got to go see that a little extra one day, didn't you?
I did. Got to go by and do a little shop tour, and we talked trucks for a couple hours, and had a real good time. And and got to really. If you follow us on YouTube, you saw a video of him firing it up.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
I like
it's pretty cool. So, and it's just a 302. You know, he put a nice little 302, built 302 in it.
He's a real old school kind of guy.
Yes, he is, and I really enjoyed him. I really enjoyed the feel of the show. It's really good. I suggest you try to make your way, if you live local especially, try to make your way to Case City, Kentucky next year. It's always at the end of July. Yes, it's always hot, but
it's worth it.
It's at a really good venue, has an air-conditioned building that you can go into and get cooled off, and they even have a craft show for the ladies. So believe it or not, my wife bought jewelry at the daggum truck show. So,
well, I think we, listening to the interview with Corey Wheat Customs was very, very powerful.
Yes.
With just like the verse we read, if you wait on the Lord, their timing, like they waited, and it was just so perfect, how everything happened. And, now that, I don't even know how many views that video has of them rebuilding that Apache, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what skyrocketed their channel, and it was from a catastrophe that happened.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just crazy how God works in your life. I mean, you think that you just hit rock bottom. It's the absolute worst of the worst. And then, God uses that for something.
You wait upon the Lord and you will fly. You will soar like eagles.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's the thing. We have to wait. Yeah. We are very impatient people.
Yeah.
We want this and we want it now. And, sometimes if we just wait, in due time, our need will be met, or our YouTube channel will blow up.
Yeah.
You never know.
Who knows? Who knows?
But praise God that they are in the position that they're in.
Yeah.
And some of these other guys are in the positions they're in to be able to share the word and on their YouTube channel.
And they've been able to make a career out of it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of other YouTubers out there, guys, that have that share the word in their YouTube channel. And I really respect that, and I'm glad that they do that. And but if we wait upon the Lord, He's going to meet our need.
Yeah.
He's going to meet it, and I think in most cases in my life, He has always met it far beyond what I thought or what I wanted. He's always exceeded my expectations. Yeah. And so let's wait upon Him, and let's not get in a hurry and try to do more than what God's wanting us to do. Let's let Him lead us.
God's will is better than our will.
That's exactly 100%. Right. 100%. God's will is better than our will.
I mean, that's just like how we mentioned last episode, talking about putting things above God.
Yes.
And at the time, waiting on God is the same situation. You try to go on your timing rather than God's time, and things don't always work out.
I'm going to tell you right now.
I've experienced that recently.
Yeah,
so.
And if you try to force things and push through it, you're going to screw it up.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You're going to screw it up. No matter what it is in your life, if you wait upon the Lord, it's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out.
It may not seem like it, but you got to have trust.
You got to have trust.
Faith the size of a mustard seed is all you need.
Exactly right. So many times in my life that if I would have just waited upon the Lord, it would have been a whole lot better, and I wouldn't have to go through what I went through.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
So, guys, we hope you enjoyed this podcast. We hope that you, if you're watching it on YouTube, that you will like it and you will share it. And no matter where you're listening to it, like it and share it with somebody. Let them know about it. And especially if you got a car guy in your life and that, someone else that you care about, a brother or an uncle or whoever it is, share it with them. Let them know we're out here. And follow us on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. And we hope that you all enjoyed it today. Give us some comments. We want to keep this thing rolling along, and we want to get some feedback and improve this thing.
Oh, also, give everybody a follow that we interviewed.
Yes, everybody that you heard their socials in the videos.
We'll put it up on screen as well.
Well, we'll put a link.
Okay,
we'll put a link in the description so that you guys can just click on it and go to their Instagram or their Facebook or their YouTube. Yeah. So not all these guys have YouTube, just a few of them did. Yeah. So go check them all out. Give them some support. They're really good people. Very humble people. So
some of them have more projects than what we saw too.
Yes, they do.
So you should definitely check those out.
Yeah. So we're glad you were with us today. God bless you and have a great day.